Welcome, friends. So today we are going to discuss about age distribution. Uh, one of the important aspect of population ecology. So age distribution, it is one of the important characteristic aspect of population ecology. Before to this, we have already studied three different concepts, that is population density, natality, and the mortality. Every population is consist of three types of age groups, that is pre-reproductive, which are also called as the immature one, then reproductive, called as the mature, and the post-reproductive, the old age individuals. So the relative proportion of these three age groups in a population are uh, called as the age distribution. It defines the ratio of different age groups, that means these three age groups, immature, mature, and the post, in a population. It influences both natality and mortality. As we know, natality, that means the birth rate, which is totally depend on the reproductive individuals of a population. If it has high number of reproductive individuals, that means its birth rate is high, and usually the rate of death, the mortality, it is high in the old age individuals. So that's why the age distribution, which is also called as the age structure, it is important aspect of population ecology, which affects the future of a population, and it also affects the natality and the mortality. The scientists have constructed hypothetical pyramids of age distribution, which is depend on the proportion of these three uh, different age groups, or the individuals of three different age groups in a particular population. Each and every species, it has uh, different life stages. That means that particular the span required for each that particular age. That means the that immature age and the mature age and the post age. It has different span in its in every species, which varies from species to species. Say for example, in present day human being, these three age groups are near about of equal length, whereas in the primitive humans, the post reproductive period was shorter due to less medical facilities. But as we know today, uh, we have minimized our death rate, that death which usually occurs in the old age. So that post reproductive period in the present day human, it is somewhat high as compared to the old ones, or the primitive ones. Usually the insects are with long pre-reproductive period, short reproductive period, and the no post reproductive period. As you know, there are so many insects that male usually dies after mating. The well-known example, it is cicada, in which the pre-reproductive period, it is of 17 years. After that, it has reproductive period which is very short, is only up to single season, and after that single season, or after it is that particular mating, the male dies. After that, that particular female lays the eggs, and then that female also dies. And the dormant period for the eggs, it is up to 17 years. Then pyramids of age distribution, the scientists has have discovered the hypothetical pyramids of age distribution or the age structure. There are three pyramids which the scientists have discovered. The each pyramid has three parts. That is dark part, which is also called as the, or which represents the pre-reproductive individuals. The shaded area, it is called as the, or it is defining the reproductive individuals, whereas that uppermost part, which is white in color, it defines the post reproductive individuals, the proportion of the old age individuals. The three diagrams, that is A, B, and C. The A defines, which is with the broad base, it defines the expanding population. The another one, which is called as the bell-shaped pyramid, it defines or it represents the stable population, whereas the third one, the C, which has narrow base, which is also called as an urn-shaped pyramid, it is defining the declining type of population. So we will see the first one, that is pyramids with base. So as the name indicates, it has broad base. Broad base, that means that population represents the large number of individuals of the pre-reproductive age group. So this particular population or this particular pyramid defines that that particular population, it is expanding population, and in this and in such conditions, the each successive generation is more numerous than the preceding one. For example, paramecium. In paramecium, there occurs multiple there occurs fission. That means one individual is get converted into two. So if that particular its first generation, it is with the 50 individual, so its next generation will be of 100, because there occurs multiplication by 2. The third generation will be of 200. The fourth generation will be with 400 individuals. The fifth will be with the 800 individuals. Here we are not calculating that their accidental death, because as we know, in that particular paramecium, that natural death, it is absent. When that animal it is coming to end its life, at that time it enter into the process of that particular conjugation or that multiplication, and it then becomes two. So natural death, it is absent in case of paramecium. So its first generation, if it is of 50, then 100, then 200, then 400, then 800. So each successive generation, it is more numerous than the preceding one. It occurs if that particular individual or that population, it is having the pyramid with the broad base. It is the pyramid with the broad base. Next one, it is a bell-shaped polygon. A bell-shaped polygon, it represents the stable type of population, in which that population, it is with the near about similar type of contribution of all the three age group. That means from young to old, it has similar number of individuals. This particular type of pyramid, it is somewhat rare in nature because it is somewhat difficult to make that constant figure. That means if any population it is having 100 individuals, so that 33 it is belonging to young one, and exactly the 33 with that particular mature, and again that 33 are that old one, and again that for such type of population the death rate and the birth rate should be equal. So that particular calculation, that particular equilibrium regarding death rate and the birth rate, it is not easy to maintain. So that's why such type of we can say pyramid, it is somewhat rare. It is bell-shaped polygon or the pyramid, which represents near about equal individuals of all the three categories. Then third one, it is an urn-shaped polygon or the urn-shaped pyramid. It represents the population with narrow base. As we know, at the base there is always the pre-reproductive individuals, the immature one. So that's why if their number it is low, that means their population it is on the decreasing or declining one, and that population may we can say may become extinct. It contains fewer young ones as compared to the other two age groups. It is an urn-shaped pyramid which is having the narrow base, which represents the less number of young ones. So it is representing the declining type of population. So importance. It is one of the important aspect of population ecology. It gives the current reproductive status of population. From that particular reproductive status, we can calculate the fate of the population. It is simply the assumption, that means if that population it is with the broad base, that means if it has large number of young one, that means that particular population will flourish, it will expand. If that particular population it has low number of young one, that means care should be taken to conserve that species. So at the same time, if it has less number of young one, so at that time that particular ecologist they can concentrate on the which are the reasons behind their less birth rate, and by knowing the reasons, by simply rectifying that particular problems, so they can increase the birth rate, and due to that that particular species can survive. It is of practical importance in the wildlife management, because if we want to conserve any species, we should have an idea about its reproductive status. In addition to age distribution, sex ratio of population is also of equal importance. What is the sex ratio? That means if it is imbalanced, so at that time we have to, or the ecologists have to work for that. So by this way, this particular age structure or the age distribution, it is of important point from the point of ecology or from the point of wildlife conservation. So what we learned? We learned the definition. Definition is simple. Each and every population it is made up of three types of individuals. That is pre-reproductive, reproductive, and the post-reproductive. And the and the proportion of these three age groups in a population defines the age structure or the age distribution, because that particular each and every that particular stage it is depend on the age. That means when that particular individual will become mature, it has a particular age. When that individual will become that old, it has a particular age. So, and which is varies with the species to species. So that's why this it is called as the age distribution or the age structure. Then we got an idea about the pyramids of age structure. As we know, there are three types of age structure. That is pyramid with broad base, which defines the flourishing population or the expanding population. Next one, that is the bell-shaped pyramid, which is defining the stable population, whereas the third one, which is with the narrow shape, which is called as the urn-shaped pyramid, which defines the declining population. So if that population it is declining, so at that time we can work work to minimize or work to enhance its uh, birth rate or for its proper survival, for its conservation. And also we talked about the importance. That means it is one of the important aspect of population ecology from the point of view of wildlife conservation. And for this I have used the book Aurora, Mohan Arora of ecology, and this matter it is present on the page number 139 to 141. So it is all up to age distribution, which is one of the important aspect of population ecology. Thanks.